Hey, how's it going everybody? Ramon here, the day before the Oahu Surf Film Festival. Stay tuned as this is your definitive guide to what to expect at this year's festival. But first things first, I would like to thank all the volunteers who came together and are helping me make this thing possible. Secondly, I would like to thank all of this year's judges, including Nicole Ancheta, Mahina Keene, Alana Johnson, Les Tin, and Brent Clem. Last but not least, I would like to thank two surf shops who help us put out flyers. That's going to be Hawaiian South Shore, located on Ward Avenue, as well as Inter-Island Surf Shop on Kapahulu. So again, thank you all for coming together who helped contribute to this year's Oahu Surf Film Festival. Next, we're going to go over the synopsis of each and every film, but first things first, once you arrive at the festival, you'll check in. Once you check in, you'll pick up a badge. If you paid for a VIP ticket, you'll get a yellow badge. If you paid for a general admission, you'll get a red badge. So on the back of every badge is a copy or is a small synopsis of every single film. You can find a detailed synopsis for every single film on both Instagram handles, that's Oahu Surf Film as well as Oahu Surf Film Festival. So first things first, the first film that's going to kick off this year's festival is coming from a director from Austria. Her name is Miriam Joanna, titled The Art of Adapting. The Art of Adapting serves as a beautiful reminder that in life, just like in the surf, it's all about impermanence and constantly adapting to the surge of always changing and unpredictable conditions as they rise. Navigating the ebbs and flows and embracing and thriving on the continuous changes of the colors on our canvas of life with associated highs and lows. It's an adventure in itself. This was a really cool film. All of the judges agreed. It got high ratings and we're super excited to show you all The Art of Adapting, directed by Miriam Joanna. Next film up is also a favorite of mine. It has a really nostalgic French new wave feel. It's sort of an experimental vibe, but also it's different. It keeps you engaged. The title is Synchronism, directed by Eli Norman and Scott Wynn. The text reads, Synchronism juxtaposes surfing and artist swimmers in the ocean, both performing in unison. A first ever of its kind, a surrealist journey, a hypnagogic state depicting fragments of unconsciousness mind, a concurrence of dreamlike events coexisting with the ocean, where rhythmic relationships come together, not merely from coincidence. Reality is distorted when worlds combine simultaneously, both dancing to the rhythm of the sea. Really cool film. I'm excited to show you guys this film. Next up in line, we have by French photographer Tim McKenna, Raw the Sound of Chupo. Filmed in the heart of the jungle of Polynesia and close to the most beautiful wave in the world, famous photographer and filmmaker Tim McKenna has followed the surfing locals Gilbert Tave and Taharai Henry during one special day. More than a classic video of Tahiti's iconic wave, the short film Raw the Sound of Chupo is a pure aesthetic and sound travel. Let me tell you, sound travel and pure aesthetic it is. So I'm super excited to bring Raw the Sound of Chupo to Oahu and showcase it with all of you guys from around the island. Next up is a homegrown favorite, Homecoming, directed by Brandy Martin, and it reads, Hawaii is the birthplace and cultural center of surfing. As a new Olympic sport, surfers from Hawaii play a critical role in perpetuating surfing traditions and pushing the sport's progression while celebrating the vision of Duke Kahanamoku, the father of modern day surfing. This film is really cool because you're going to see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of your friends who've competed throughout the years in Hasa competitions coming to the silver screen and surfing based off of last year's final and they're at the ISA Junior World Championships in El Salvador. So next up, we have a film titled What is Climate Change, coming all the way from Portugal, directed by Alex Massine, and it reads, Johnny, a surfer and painter from Portugal, tells us about his art and his relationship to nature. Or does he? This mockumentary wants to recreate the feeling of discomfort we are facing today, when we start to realize that the consequences of climate change are already here. While wanting to preserve our usual ways of life, two different realities that struggle coexisting in our minds. The contrast between the real story of Portuguese artist Johnny Vieira and the fictional illustration of his life aims to blur the borders between the present reality and dystopic future. So again, coming all the way from Portugal, thank you all for submitting this year to this year's film festival, and I'm super proud to have What is Climate Change? All right, next up on the list is Springtide, a Burmese tale directed by Leopold Belanger, hailing from France by way of Myanmar. From the machinery of a wood workshop in Yangon to the breaking swell of the Bay of Bengal, Springtide depicts the birth of wave riding in Myanmar. Leopold Belanger is a short film and documentary director deeply inspired by far-off lands and its people. Long based in Myanmar, he's directed documentary series for local TV, with the need to put forward the geographical diversity, the rich history, and the people's fascinating stories. Back in his home country in France, he keeps up with the same direction, but on a wider scale by working on expeditions across the world. So again, Leopold, thank you for submitting to this year's festival. I look forward to showcasing your piece of art, Springtide, a Burmese Tale. All right, next up on the list is titled Pacific Vibrations, directed by David Tujore, and excuse me if I pronounced that wrong, and a producer and co-director Steve Bartolotti. Rick Griffith Interlude 1. It reads, Rick Griffith was born in 1944 amidst the small but fast-growing surfing culture of post-war Southern California. While in high school in the late 1950s, Griffith created mini surfer drawings which led to the comic strip Murphy for Surfing Magazine in 1961. From the early Murphy to the Griffith Stoner adventures to his abstract topography and comic renderings of the 70s, Griffith merged the worlds of surfing, rock, and comic art while attending Art Academy. So again, thank you for submitting to this year's festival. I really like the nostalgic feel of this film. It's essentially hailing from the heyday of surfing, which is the 60s and 70s, where boundaries were pushed, different surf crafts were created, and essentially shortboarding itself was invented. Next on the list, hailing all the way from France, titled Bound by the Ocean, directed by Paul Livonier. And Paul, please excuse me if I pronounce this incorrectly, as French is not my native language. But it reads, this documentary takes place in, again, Chupo, a small village in French Polynesia. 5 surfers share their perception of the ocean, a place where they find food, fun, and friendship, and home. Paul Livonier is a 23-year-old filmmaker from France dedicated to the ocean and surfing. He found this inspiration in underwater perception. So thank you, Paul, for bringing a piece of Polynesia to the island of Oahu. We look forward to screening this film at this year's Oahu Surf Film Festival. So next up, we have Natasha Smith hailing from the US. The title is Reclaim Your Water, Natasha Smith, directed by Faith E. Briggs. And it reads, breaking barriers and making her own waves, Natasha Smith is a core member of the Ebony Beach Club. She shares her own story in hopes of increasing representation in surf, skate, and any other sport or activity that has historically been exclusive and can give such an individual sense of freedom. Faith, thank you for submitting to this year's festival. Again, stories like this are needed because, you know, we need to see more diversity, and people need to see that, hey, there's different faces involved in surfing. I'm a pure example. So thank you again for submitting to this year's Oahu Surf Film Festival. We look forward to screening your film. Next up, hailing all the way from Cornwall is Unplugged, directed by Bella Rose Bunce. It reads, Unplugged, a short film about a group of friends exploring untouched nature in Baja, searching for quiet ways and freedom. Filmed from a female point of view, focusing on the main person in the film, Beth Layfield, one of Britain's top female longboarders. This film hopes to inspire women to travel more in wilder places and places traditionally we only see films of men adventuring to. It reads, Bella Rose Bunce is a surfer, photographer, adventurer, and women's surfing enthusiast. Bella is new to the moving image world, having only made her first ever 2-minute short in 2022. Unplugged is the longest film she's ever made. She was the creative director, the videographer, and the editor, and she's also the winner of London Surf Film Festival's Emerging Talent for 2022. So again, Bella, thank you for sharing a piece of the UK with us here in Hawaii. We have strong ties to the UK, and you even see that today in today's flag itself. So again, super excited to be able to showcase your film here in Hawaii. And again, thank you for being part of this year's festival. Last but not least, hailing all the way from Germany is Fifth Tide, directed by Lena Kemna and Christine Gundahl. It reads, Winter swells, thundering waves, sharp reefs, paddling water larger with guns, and the struggle and joy that comes with all of that. Fifth Tide shows the life of two women during the rough Portuguese winter season. It shows their connection to the ocean, waves, and nature, and how they found sisterhood through surfing and all of this. So again, thank you all for tuning in to this episode, the definitive guide, just to get an idea of what to expect tomorrow. If you haven't picked up tickets already, you can pick up tickets on Eventbrite or FilmFreeway until 11:59 tonight. If you don't pick your tickets up tonight and you would rather pick your tickets up at the door, ticket sales will resume at 0800 Monday morning once we get a good count of the remaining tickets, and those sales will be active until we either sell out or 7 p.m. Again, if you're going to pick up tickets at the door, please be cognizant that we will not accept cash at the door. All tickets will be sold online. So you'll go online, you'll purchase your ticket, you'll have a digital ticket emailed to you. Once you get to the door, you will show that ticket. Once you show that ticket, you'll be given a VIP badge or a general admission badge, and you'll be able to proceed into the movie theater. Again, the movie theater asks that we not bring large bags. If you do bring a large bag, you are susceptible to search by the movie theater staff. This isn't our policy, this is Regal's policy, so please be cognizant of that. There is also not going to be any outside photography allowed. So if you are a surf photographer and you plan on attending the Oahu Surf Film Festival, I only have 3 passes left for press. So you need to purchase your ticket, then email me ahead of time, letting me know that you're going to be at the door so I can meet you, greet you, and give you a yellow pass. Because if you do not have a yellow pass, you will not be able to come in with your camera and do any type of photography. Again, we're at a different venue this year versus last year, so we got to play by their rules. So again, if you're a surf photographer and you plan on attending the festival, you need to purchase your ticket, then shoot me a message so I can convert your ticket into a staff pass. That way you'll be able to float around and take pictures. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to bringing the 2023 Oahu Surf Film Festival to everyone tomorrow night. Have fun, play it safe, and we'll see you there. Aloha.